This is the Big O Show.
Yeah. Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the Big O Show.
Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know.
Culture, probably Pablo. You know, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando also Gary. Yeah.
All right, we're ready to rock. You guys ready to rock? Got your cowbell going? Got it all going? Got the clocker going tonight? Yeah! We're ready to rock and roll tonight. I love it. How y'all feeling? I got my commemorative Marlins hat on. So,
Bro, I remember when we went and got those.
this is 1991.
That was the first thing ever sold by the Marlins, and you had to go to Blockbuster. That's awesome.
I had to throw out something classic today, so I figured we'd rock something that we haven't rocked in forever. It's been in this bag, and it still has a little yellow to it already because it's so old.
Could only get it because of Wayne, you know? You
Yeah.
sold them at Blockbuster, bro. I remember that day going and getting it.
Yep. So there you go. Little commemorative Marlins hat, a little classic that we brought out for the boys today since at 2 o'clock. Sandy Alcantara, 208. I'm sorry. He will get it going and hopefully rock it out against the stinking Braves. Let's hope they can get it done. And tonight is the Heat, obviously, Game 4 against the Lakers. What's going to happen? Who's going to show up? Jimmy will probably – I mean, you're going to need another Jimmy-like effort like you had the other night. I think you're going to need that pretty much every night now. But the question is – and it's hard to expect him to score 40 again, but who's going to step up? I mean, really, that is the question tonight. Is Tyler going to step up? I mean, you know, the snarl and all that stuff is really nice, but you didn't really do much in that game. You haven't done much since you hit that 37 points. You kind of been, you know, just there. Duncan Robinson, you have been absolutely MIA in this series. Kendrick Nunn, you've been MIA for I don't know how long now. Okay, I mean, it was I don't know if I was at drinking age the last time he actually had a shot. So somebody's got to wake up for the Miami Heat. And then with Bam being questionable now with the neck injury, it looks to me like he's going to play if he's questionable. I think he'll give it a go. And listen, you know, Bam probably wanted to play in the last game. You know what I mean? So we'll see what kind of Bam we get tonight. And will that be, you know, if he's not 100% and he's at 70, let's say, or 60, how effective is he going to be is my question. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing I worry about Bam is, you know, what mobility. I don't know what that neck injury, I don't know how bad it is. None of us really know how bad it is. So we'll find out how the Heat handle everything tonight. I'll give you my picks later on in the program, so we'll have a little fun with that since we're red hot right now with the picks. And I've got actually 2 picks in the game tonight for the Heat and Lakers. So we've got 2 selections there. Last night, a couple of Monday night games. As we told you, it's Brian Hoyer. See, Bill Belichick is a great coach, but great coaches still need great players. And he didn't have a great player at quarterback, and he had no shot at winning that game. And the defense was outstanding because, 6-3 at halftime? It was a sleeper. I expected it to already be a 10-point lead at least at halftime. That's why I told you to give the points yesterday, and you would have won if you did. But then again, you would have lost because I told you to take Atlanta +7, so we went 1-1 overall. So we ended up 4-4 on the week in our first week of picking games. So we'll continue and try to climb now over the next couple of weeks. And right now, I still haven't seen the line yet on the Dolphins and the Niners because there is no indication yet if Garoppolo's going to play or not, and we're only on Tuesday, so we still have a few more days to find that out. So last night, what's it called? Hoyer was Hoyer, whatever, and Jarrett Stidham, the youngster, came out. The first interception wasn't his fault because he put it right. They actually, yesterday, I'll tell you what I also saw in that game. Julian Edelman got old. That's what I saw. Once you start dropping that many balls and you're Julian Edelman, that's a real concern. Okay? I'm just throwing that out there. That would be one where I'm sure Bill Belichick was going across his mind like, yeah, we're letting him go at the end of this year. It's time to get off that gravy train too. We need to move on from that guy also. Because to me, that's what I saw in Julian Edelman yesterday. When it's only one, that can happen to anybody. When I start seeing multiple and the amount of, pounding that guy's taken over the years as a slot guy for that team, that's one thing that stood out to me in that game. And this is why I said that the Patriots are going to be an 8-8 team. Also, they're not that good. They've got some players on defense, and they've made it interesting for a while, but they just don't have enough on offense. They don't have an impressive wide receiving core, okay? They don't really have a tight end that scares you anymore. And I don't believe they have a quarterback. They have an athlete playing quarterback in Cam Newton. And eventually, you saw that on the first game, he was able to pass. And then after that, it's been mostly running more than anything else because that's what he is. And this is a broken record. I already know how this story is going to end. It's going to end with him broken down. He's lucky now that this week he didn't take extra pounding because he's out for COVID. If he's able to play next week, then he'll get back to taking a pounding, and it's only a matter of time. The Patriots will be an 8-8 team this year, okay? They're not going to be tanking like some of you out there were thinking that they were tanking at the beginning of the year. They've already won 2 games. They'll win their share of games because he's a good coach. There's no doubt about it. But you're not going to win big without the right players around you. You know what I mean? The problem is too many people have this mental masturbation going on of, well, he did it with Matt Castle. And that was a great team around Matt Castle that was able to carry Matt Castle's ass to it. But eventually, if you don't have a great team like Peyton Manning had with the Broncos 4 years ago when he won the Super Bowl, Peyton Manning sucked. But he got lucky that he had a great defense and running game, and he just had everything else enough around him that even in his mediocre state, they were able to win it. That kind of stuff. That's why you won 11 games with Castle. They don't have that kind of team now. So they'll be an 8-8 team when it's all said and done. Packers routed the Falcons last night. Falcons just cannot get it done. They could not get it done on offense. If you have Robert Tonyan as your tight end and you started him yesterday, he probably single-handedly won you a fantasy game yesterday. He's got five touchdowns already on the season. I would imagine that Tonyan is going to be a heavily selected player this week in free agency if he's still available out there, which I would imagine he probably is in some leagues. 5 TDs already on the season. The dude had 6 receptions, 98 yards, and 3 touchdowns yesterday. And Aaron Rodgers is a guy that is just playing out of his mind right now. Green Bay is 4-0. Atlanta's 0-4. It's 2 teams going in 2 completely different directions. And it's funny how in the media there's always these storylines that people fall on their faces, right? Well, Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers are probably not getting along because Matt LaFleur already planned for his replacement. And meanwhile, it's the opposite, right? Everything's going great. They're 4-0. Rodgers is slinging it around all over the place. Oh, why didn't they get him a receiver? And yeah, they needed a receiver, but he's so good that he elevates Tanyan. You know what I mean? Who in the hell is Robert Tanyan? Huh? Who the hell is Robert Tanyan? Well, now he's a player thanks to Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? So it's, again, the great ones make everybody better around you.
He went to Larry Bird's school.
Yeah, Indiana State.
That's it.
Okay, well, there you go. That's it. He's another hick from French Lick. I don't know. Anyway, so, it's you look at what's gone on, and remember last year tanking the Dolphins? They're not. They said this year that the Patriots are going to tank. They're not tanking. It's all these narratives that they come up with, and they're all wrong most of the time. It's the whole thing with the Green Bay was, you could not have been more wrong. Oh, it's going to be really a icy situation there. They want him out already and this and that. Well, he responded. They responded. Everything's worked out. They're 4-0, and they're planning for the future, which I never really had a problem with the pick because I understood what you're trying to do. I got no problem. It's I'll give you an example. Safed Dean does an excellent job of covering the Dolphins, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with Safed. I'm going to agree with Armando. I'm going to agree with Omar. I'm going to agree with anybody that's on the Dolphins beat. I'm going to agree all the time with anybody on the Heat beat or the Marlins or whatever, right? So Safed wrote an article last week about DK Metcalf and how the Dolphins used a pick on Rosen when they could have used it on Metcalf, right? And I couldn't have disagreed more with that article. Love Safed. Got no problem with Safed. I found that article to be absolutely useless. I found that article to be a media member using a layup of a second guessing, because you can do that every year to every coach, to every draft. All you got to do is look at a pick that didn't work out and then go find one that did close by right after. There's no science there, right? But the difference is where Safed completely took it out of context is you need a quarterback. So you're a franchise that has to go find a quarterback. And what I've said for 20 years on radio is I want a team that is going after a quarterback every year until they find one. Well, that's what I got right now. I finally got the kind of front office that I want. The front office that isn't going to give out stupid salaries. The front office that's trading for a whole bunch of picks so they can rebuild from youth, so you don't have to pay people for 4 or 5 years. So you can figure things out. So you don't have an Ndamukong Suh salary on you, a burden, and then it forces you not to keep certain people because you're paying that guy a crazy amount of salary when you don't even need him, when you're not even a Suh away from winning a title. Only reason you would sign a guy like that in free agency, it's because you're that guy away from the title. But that's stupid people that do that. And that's what we had here for many, many years. Stupid people running the organization. We got smart people. Now, are you going to hit on all your draft picks? Of course not. I always use the example. So if you're Safedin and you're writing an article the year after Seattle finds Russell Wilson, are you then going to say, well, why did they give the money to Matt Flynn? Why did they trade for Charlie Whitehurst? And why did they sign Jackson? Because they did all of that in that one offseason. They went after 4 quarterbacks in one offseason. Drafted one, traded for another, gave another big free agent contract, and brought another one back. And then Russell was probably the last option out of all of them, and he ended up being the guy. So then what are you going to do? You're going to start picking on them for all the other things they didn't do? So I found that, and again, I love Safed, but that doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything that people write or say. And I found that article to be completely off base. I don't care about DK Metcalf. I know he's a hell of a player. I get all of that. But it's way more important to get a quarterback. And I want you to go for a quarterback and another quarterback and another quarterback. If you keep missing, you keep taking a quarterback. What I certainly don't want you to do is stay with the same mediocre quarterback like they did with Tannehill and not ever get a franchise quarterback. Never bring in competition. In fact, they handed Tannehill the job, and he never even earned that job. He never even did enough to keep the job. And yet they never went after their quarterbacks. Right? So that, to me, these narratives that you come up with, you're just doing it to stir shit up. You know what I mean? Again, got nothing against the guy. I think Safed does an excellent job. Doesn't mean we're all going to be right. I'm going to have a hot take that is going to be completely off. It's going to happen. Probably happens every day. But doesn't mean you all of you that watch or listen to the show, you don't agree with me every single time. That would be really boring. But it's interesting how these narratives come up and we start creating all of these narratives, and notice how a lot of them are just way off. And yesterday, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, no, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, yeah, they're headed for a divorce. Like right now, how would you trade Aaron Rodgers? Are you out of your mind? Do you think Jordan Love's going to have you at 4-0? Do you think Jordan Love is going to make Robert Tonyan a household name? No. But Aaron Rodgers can. Russell Wilson can. Pat Mahomes can. Right? The elite ones make everybody better around you. And I believe Tua will be that guy. I truly believe Tua will be that guy. But everything comes with time. You got to give it some time. It's not a matter of rushing all of this stuff. And it's not a matter of creating a narrative that isn't there. Don't forget that Moody S Dental is a proud sponsor of our program. Call them 305-821-0231. Visit them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Moody S Dental. Whether it's implants, Invisaligns, you want to fill a cavity, whatever it is you need to clean your teeth. You've been quarantining for months now, so you've been stuffing your face like I have. Go to Moody S Dental, 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Family owned, and we're talking about state-of-the-art equipment. It is Moody S Dental. Let me see what we got here on the chat board so far. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up. Also, share the link if you can, too, with a friend of the show. Send it to them. He or she may not know that we're on every single day doing our thing. We'd appreciate it immensely. Let me see. Omar Lopez was first in the house today. He says he need all the Brujeros and Santeros from Hialeah to pull out another W tonight. Let's go, baby. Well, it's Bill's job. I know he's got the language barrier thing, but he does understand Spanish. But I have put Bill in charge since he does live in Hialeah, and I don't anymore. So I've told him that he needs to go now when he goes home to go find a specific old lady to do a little black magic. And brujeria is what we call it. Black Magic, and help the Heat win it. So if they don't win, blame Bill because he got the wrong old lady. That's all I got to say. All right?
I can only cuss you out and order my food, bro. We got a problem.
NorCal says, let's get it. Alexa V, the president, is in the house. NorCal says, lemon cake, wake and bake. Wow, that's a combination. Ian from Brooklyn is in. Julius 305. Gus 1388. Clifton Wellman. Troy Ortiz. Brandon Flood. Man of 1,005 holds. Dougie Fresh says Hurricane Delta better get gone because ain't nobody got time for that. Enough with the hurricanes. And, man, our friends in the Gulf, I mean, it's the – wow. That they – prayers because they just get pounded in the Gulf over and over and over and over again.
Like the Gulf is the super spawner of hurricanes, bro.
Like the White House now is the hot spot for the coronavirus. Well, the hot spot for hurricanes is the Gulf, dude. Wow, you would think it's us, and it's the Gulf instead, man. Wow, it's ridiculous. And it happens where we don't get it nearly. We get the storm, and it's not as bad, and then it just raises its level of intensity in the Gulf, and then pounds our friends in the Bama, Mississippi, Texas. Damn, dude.
That heated water, brother.
Florida Panhandle. Wow, it's crazy, dude. Tommy in Hialeah says we need the real heat, the hustling heat, the intense heat, the scrappy heat. Let's see. NorCal says A's got whooped. Feels like the same old choking A's. Okay? Those junkies, right? Stanton and Judge. You get what I'm saying? You know, yesterday, it's a tight game, and then the guys that you're paying $4,000 billion to play, they go, and that's the problem. Listen, the A's have got it all solved. They know how to do it. The problem is the guy in Boston now with the Cubs goes, yeah, I'll get that Moneyball stuff, and I'll add actual money to it. So the day that actually the A's want to add money to Moneyball, then you will finish the job. But as long as the A's don't add money to Moneyball, just like Tampa, if they don't add money to Moneyball, then they're never, ever going to get over the top. You'll be efficient. You'll find enough players to help you win because mathematically you're doing it the right way. But in the end, you've got to have the elite players to kind of finish the job. So you're going to have to pay for pitchers and you're going to have to pay for hitters. And in the end, if you're the A's and you're the Rays and you don't pay for the hitters and you don't pay for the pitchers and you only develop them and let them go other places, then you will never end up with a title. That's all it is. It's simple math for a dummy that doesn't do good in math with letters, actually. You got an argument there? You got a discussion with me?
It was looking good until about the fourth or fifth inning, and then the Astros went off,
Right.
But yeah, you know what, man? It goes back to the Toronto team, 92, and our Marlins. I remember that year that we got in 97. There was only one team out of the 10 that made the playoffs that weren't in the top 10 in salaries.
Payroll, yeah.
Yeah, it's money, man.
Money,
you don't
bro.
have money, bro, you're only going to get so far.
Once in a blue moon, the 03 Marlins, the Royals,
right.
whatever.
Yep.
And wait a minute. Those Royals and those Marlins, they all ended up getting paid by somebody else, but they all ended up getting paid. They were players that ended up becoming, franchise players for other people, right? So that's where, and that's what I think the A's and the Rays are trying to do is that 1 year where they capture lightning in a bottle, and they got a whole bunch of young guys that developed right at the right time, but you don't have the money to keep them. And that's what Miami and Kansas City has done in the past, to win their last titles. That's how they did it. Miami didn't do that in their first go-around. Wayne spent money. We were top 5 in payroll. We were 5th overall. I think 4th or 5th, actually. Might have been 4th. I'm not exactly sure, but it's either 4 or 5. Back in 97, we were the 4th or 5th in payroll. They were one of the top teams in spending. that year.
If you took
How you
what
win?
if you took what the A's in Tampa do right now, what they've been doing,
Oh, my God.
and you threw some money in there,
Oh, my
imagine,
God.
bro. Wow.
You have Yankee or Dodger money behind it, it's over. It's over. I mean, see, the thing is, actually, the Yankees and the Dodgers are doing that now. They've been doing that now for several years. They have developed their own people. They're not really living off of buying everybody else.
Well, the Dodgers,
they buy
the Dodgers,
extra guys.
the Dodgers spend more than anybody else, and it's
Yes.
not even close.
Yes,
the
but
Yankees,
they do
the
develop
Yankees
their
are
own
not
guys,
George.
too.
The Yankees are not George. The
No.
Suns are accountants, and they are about the luxury tax. But
Well, they're back to where they were in the early '90s with Sticks, where they are doing a phenomenal job drafting and developing.
Cashman.
So they only Cashman is doing what Sticks did years ago, where he got Jeter and Bernie and Posada and everybody knows.
It has to be the base of your team. You have to have
a core.
A core.
A core.
But bottom line, like we talk about with money and spending in the NFL, man, you got to have some free agent guys that you go to fill those holes. You're by draft and stuff, you're not going to fill all your needs. I'm sorry.
Alexa says, "Oh, tell Bill I beat him in the Yahoo League." So you lost to Alexa.
She didn't beat me. She smacked me around like a redheaded stepchild.
Brutalized you, huh?
160-something to 91, bro. Like a spank down.
Alex Diaz says, "Big on Bill, I can't believe not only do the Texans own us our first and second rounders, but they're also $15 million over the cap. Crazy." Alex, that's called stupid management. That's what we used to have here for 20 years. That's why I used to go crazy. That's why I used to piss off a lot of you Dolphin fans out there. Okay? Now I'm pissing off some Dolphin fans because I'm positive about what they're doing now. It's awesome. For 20 years, I would frustrate the crap out of Dolphin fans because I would tear this team apart because they would do one incredibly stupid thing after another incredibly stupid thing, and I just, I lost it. Now, the last year and a half, I've been really positive about what's going on. So now I'm a homer. Now I'm like, I'm terrible because I'm too positive now.
There is no decision.
It's like I learn to live with it. Like the thing that some of you emotional fans are, you're too much of a homer, so you can't handle it when I say something negative. And then some of you are so angry that you're actually searching for me to join you on this hate bandwagon. And when I'm not on the hate bandwagon with you, then all of a sudden I'm too much of a homer now. It's like I never can win with you guys, ever. You know what I mean? It's just one of those deals. There's plenty of Dolphin fans that I turned off the last 20 years because they're homers and they just can't handle the truth. Now they probably would love to listen to me because there's some of you out there, you're emotional cripples, and you don't want to live in reality. I live in reality. I love Panther ownership, okay? But as much as I love the Panther ownership, I got to a point where I said, "Hey, yo, Dale Talon's got to go, man." And I don't want the ownership to change, just like I don't want Stephen Ross to go anywhere. I want Stephen Ross to figure it out and get the right people, and I think finally he did it. And hopefully Zito's the right person for the Panther ownership. When ownership spends, I don't want them to go anywhere. Now, when they don't spend like Loria, I want you out of here. You know what I mean? It's pretty simple. And so I think at one point or another, those of you out there that sometimes have a problem with me, you have to understand, I'm calling it like I see it. I'm not here to sensationalize something. I'm not going to create a negative out of something that's not a negative. I'm not going to do it just to piss you off and just to get a rise out of you, whether we're taking phone calls or texts or emails or tweets or texts. I don't care however you respond to me. I'm not doing it in a phony fashion. If I don't like something, it's because I truly don't like it. If I like it, it's because I truly like it. That's it. It's not a false type of thing one way or another. I'm not trying to be a phony being positive, and I'm certainly not going to be a phony being a negative. I just don't do that.
If you're in a salary cap sports league and you screw up your money, nothing will set you back worse.
Right.
Not draft picks, not that. You mismanage your money, man, you're crippled for years.
Yep.
Unless you're Riley. You saw he did all them bad contracts. You get somebody to take Deion Waiters, right?
Oh, but no, but it still took him years.
Oh, yeah. It took him 2 years. Yeah.
It took him to the back end of those deals in order to unload those guys.
Right. Those other teams could get it off the books.
Riley set his team back with those contracts.
Oh, no doubt.
There's no doubt about that. There's no way. Again, got to be brutally honest and objective. Love Riley to death. Some of you wanted him gone. I never did. Never did. I ripped him for signing Whiteside and these guys, but that doesn't mean I want him gone. You got to compartmentalize all that. Some of you, oh, no, Riley lost it. Where are all you guys out there that said Riley lost it, by the way? Where are you? Where do you show up? Do you have any balls whatsoever? I'm just wondering. Do you show up and admit you're wrong? Some of you wanted Riley fired. How about you guys used to say Spo couldn't coach? Like, where are you? Like, I used to argue with you people all the time on Twitter, on the shows. Where are you? That's what I love about some folks out there. But the good thing is that nobody's tracking what you're saying. So you can't follow it up. So you get to run and you get to throw the rock and hide, basically. Big Rig, good morning, Big O and Bill and the fam that's tuned in. Thank you, sir. Mike No-Go Zones is in the house. Carlos Madrigal. Big O Fitz tragic, starting again, season down the drain. Flores coaching scared. Yeah, no, of course. Carlos, let me ask you something. Flo coaches scared. Really, bro? Really? Why? Because he didn't go for it on third down? So all of a sudden, on a play, he coaches scared. Did you watch them all last year? I think he took all kinds of chances. Maybe he was just conservative there, not scared. I mean, Carlos, do you have to go like to an extreme of stupidity? Seriously. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you sending a text, but I'm going to call any of you guys out for stupidity. Coaching scared. What kind of stupid-ass stuff is that? Why, because they're not playing Tua? So that's scared? Or is that being responsible? Scared why? Because you know more than Flo? Scared. I mean, sometimes you people go to some stupid-ass extremes. Way to go, Carlos. Ray is in the house, man of 1,005 holds. Anthony says, Orlando, are you going to watch the NHL draft tonight and see who the Panthers select? No, I'm not. I'll just read about it, bro. I have a life. I don't watch the NHL draft, bro. I got the Heat going on tonight.
You're not going to have it on an extra channel.
Marlins
Sitting on the edge of your seat. Who are they picking?
There's like 3 other baseball games going on tonight. You think I'm going to waste my time watching a hockey draft of a player that I have no idea who the hell he is? And I don't even know when I'm going to see him up. It'll be like 3 years from now because they'll pick some pimply-faced 17-year-old that's got to go down to the juniors for a couple of years. Bro, please. Eso es una paja mental. Robert Triana's in the house. Call of Duty. Steve D'Onofrio says, can't stand these game-to-game knee-jerk reactions. Team is building with youth, just like Big O said. Tua will be playing soon enough. Patience is so key to building a Super Bowl contender. There you go. Patience is just to build a team. Let's just give us some time. Big O, I agree with you 80% of the time. When you talk politics, it's 35% of the time. I get it. You disagree when you're on the other side of the fence. That's all it is. I get it. When you don't hear what you want, then yeah, of course, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Joe says, I don't want to rush Tua in, but I do want to see him get some work in at some point. We're in the 4th game of his first year. Aaron Rodgers didn't play for 3 years. He's had a nice career. Everything worked out. Okay? Relax. All right? Pat Mahomes kicking ass. Didn't play till the last game of the season in his first year. I'm sorry, if he gets in week 10 or 12, what, his career's over or something? I warned you guys about this. I talked about this months ago. Okay, we're usually ahead on the curve. You know what people are saying now? Well, no, we got to see him now because we may not be able to find out about him later on if we only see him for a couple games, and then we don't know what to do with Lawrence. How many times did I talk about, hey, you may not know who Tua is until 2021? It's just the way it is. Oh, and by the way, you're not going to know anything about a quarterback till 2 or 3 years in. He could, you realize that Tua could light it up, come off the bench now, light it up, and then stink it out in 2021?
Carson Wentz?
Right. It could happen. You just never know. So you're really not going to, this whole thing of, oh, we got to find out about Tua. Do you think you're actually going to know where he is in just a couple of games this year? Really? Is that the case? Because players, they do it. Derek Anderson had a great year. The Browns thought they found themselves a franchise quarterback and gave him a contract. He then disappeared after that contract. Never did it again. Matt Flynn played a couple of games for the Packers, threw for like 8,000 yards in 2 games, threw for like 7,000 touchdowns in 2 games. Dolphins everywhere wanted to trade for him. I was fighting, because of course I'm Mr. Negative. I was fighting with those Dolphins. By the way, where are you Dolphins that wanted Matt Flynn? Years back. Disappeared too, huh? Okay. Anyway, so I had Dolphins everywhere clamoring for Matt Flynn. I go, I'm pretty consistent on this. I said, you don't know anything about a quarterback after a couple games. I would never trade for Matt Flynn. I would never give him big money. He's on a great team, made him look good. I don't know what this guy really is. Oh, Seattle found out after they gave him a big contract. And then I think the Raiders followed up and thought they could have fixed him. And no, he's Matt Flynn. He just had a couple of games. That's it. It's the silliest thing in the world. We want to rush everything because you think because you see him for a couple of games this year, you're going to know who Tua is. Come on, man. It's some silly-ass shit that some of you people come up with, man. Really is. Oh, no, we got to get him in there. Oh, we got to know what he is. So then if we see him a couple games, he doesn't play well, he's Trevor. You know that Drew Brees didn't play well for 3 years. How's Drew Brees doing? How's the career of Drew Brees after sucking for 3 years? I think he's got a bust in the Hall of Fame waiting for him, right? Yeah, you're going to find out about a guy. You would have thought that Drew Brees was done, and then all of a sudden he becomes a Hall of Fame quarterback. Huh? You think Matt Flynn is a Hall of Fame quarterback after 2 games, and then you think Drew Brees sucks because he doesn't play well for a couple of years. The light doesn't go on for everybody right away. Not everybody's Marino coming off the bench against the Raiders and saying, it's over, I'm here. That just doesn't happen. Those things are rare. Oh, no, we got to play Tua. We got to find out about him right now. You're not going to find out about him right now. He's not on a team that's complete. He's not in a great situation. So he will struggle because he's young. He doesn't know the league. He doesn't know the defenses. All of these kind of things. You want to see him see the Buffalo Bills the second go around, and all these other teams at times not all of them you're going to see him a second go around, but it's good. It's a way of him getting to know this league before he actually steps onto the field. Oh, and by the way, for those of you all born, after 1990, I just want you to know that the way football used to be, they never played you when you were a rookie. You used to just come in and sit. That was the normal thing to do. Now all of a sudden, no, we've got to get them in there. Let's get him in there so he can get beaten up and pummeled. So maybe he ends up like David Carr, not Derek Carr. Lisa Rose is in the house. What else do we have here? I could be wrong, but I get the distinct feeling that Carlos doesn't like Fitz. Could be overreaching. Let's see. There we go. Carlos there. Sorry, 20 years of being losers. Yeah, but the guys that are there are not part of the losing. I'm already tired of talking about that. Alex Gomez. So Flores is so worried about Tua, like if he's his son, and him not being ready to play, but yet he has the backup who would play if Fitz got hurt. Does Flores realize how stupid that sounds? Okay. So let me explain, Alex, how stupid you sound. Okay? How about that? Let's turn it around and let's say how stupid you sound. Okay. If you have to play Tua, then you have to play him. But if you're not forced to play him and you can buy time for Tua by keep playing Fitz and allowing him to learn, you do it. That's the point. They don't want to play Tua now. But if they have to play Tua because they have no choice, then they'll do it. They'll do it, and they're willing to play him, and they're willing to play him so much that they thought Rosen wasn't worth keeping around. They thought of him to play him so much at number 2 that they didn't even keep Jake Ruddick around on the practice squad. They went and found a young guy that maybe they can develop. So it's not that they want to play Tua, but they'll play him if they have to. That's the difference. So, yes, they will hold out. There's nothing stupid about that. They're trying to play with Fitz now. They're trying to win with Fitz. Okay, I get that, Alex. You probably don't understand that because you just want to maybe read. I think Salguero had the same article, so I think you're just being a parrot and repeating what Salguero says, which I disagree with you, and I disagree with Salguero on this one. Again, I don't have to agree with everybody. Just because I like you doesn't mean I'm going to agree with you. I understand exactly what Flores is saying. He wants to protect the kid as long as he can. He wants to buy as much time as he can for the young man to learn, to watch, to heal. Now, if they have to play him, then they have no choice. But unlike you, Alex, or Armando, or anybody else, you want to force him in there. And that's not what Flores wants to do. That's what you want to do. And he's pretty clear about that. So I'm not sure if you understand English, but it really doesn't sound stupid. What sounds stupid is you trying to force him in there when you don't even know what you're going to get. And the situation right now, as I've said many times, your 2 number 1 receivers are not healthy. Your line, now your left tackle's dealing with a foot injury, and he's questionable for this week. So you want to play Tua now? GP Trap Hewitt this is why I listen to you. Stay the same. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Batman forever. Steve D'Onofrio Jr. can't stand these games to game-to-game knee-jerk reactions. You call it like it is, Big O. We always do, my brother. We always do. Raging Dolphin Maniac is in the house. Big O, I love Fitz. Couldn't ask for a better leader or a guy, but he consistently fires the ball into double coverage. That's Fitz, bro. When there's a wide-open underneath route, that would give us the 3rd and short. Yeah, that's Fitz, bro. That's why Fitz will never be a franchise guy. That's why Fitz has always been a journeyman. And that's why he's a bridge right now for Tua. Luis Robles to undergo surgery on his arm, according to Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. Wow, that sucks. When it rains, it pours, brother. Big O, I know you're dreaming of getting a job with the Dolphins front office. No, sir, I'm not dreaming of that at all. Again, Carlos, keep on the consistency of being wrong, okay? The last thing I want is a job in the NFL. What for? So I can be finding a job every year, every other year? The hell out of here. And moving around? No, I'm good. I'm good. I could move out for radio over the years. I did it once, almost 30 years ago, and I said I would never do it again. I'll never leave Miami again. I will work here. So I could leave for radio if I wanted to. I've been offered national jobs in the past years ago, but I had to move, and I wasn't willing to move, ever. Just not doing it anymore. So, yeah, I want to work in the NFL. Yeah, of course.
Calling a brujeria place, we actually have ropa vieja, bistec de milanesa, and masa de puerco as appetizer on the way.
Robert Ritchie says, what's up, Big O? Do you see Tua coming in maybe last 2 or 3 games? We're so much improved from last year. We finally get the right coach. Robert, are the Dolphins alive in the playoffs? 2 or 3 games left? Or are they eliminated? I don't know. Is the line decimated by that time? Or are they intact and playing really well? I don't know. I can't predict what the scenario is going to be. Because let's say, God forbid, you got a bunch of injuries on the O-line and Fitz is taking a pounding and there's 4 games left. Are you really going to throw Tua out there to just take a pounding? Probably not, right? So I don't know, man. I can't answer a question that's so hypothetical, and I have no idea what the end result is going to be, in 10 weeks from now, in 8 weeks from now. I don't know. Ray sending in a little love on the Super Chat. Patience, everybody, on Tua. We have been waiting since Marino. What's a month or more? Patience. Go Fins. Exactly. Amen. Let's see. Angel Pena says, Big O, Fins are taking the perfect approach with Tua. I trust that the Fins brass for once. They are building a contender for the future. That's what I think too, man. I just think it's not going to happen in a year and 4 weeks. Fans complaining about the 20 years of mediocrity for the Fins want to rush this. That's right. If Falcons lose enough to land the top 5 picks, will not be surprised to me. If they make a play for the number 1 draft pick, Trevor, trade Matt to a team that's close and needs QB. Imagine Titans with Matt. Well, I'll tell you this, Tremolio. I did my homework a little bit here because we do that on the show. Right now, if we had the NFL draft go on, the New York Giants would have the number 1 pick in the draft. The Atlanta Falcons would be number 2. The number 3 team would be the New York Jets. The number 4 team would be Houston, which is really Miami. The number 5 team is Dallas. The number 6 team is Washington. 7, the Chargers. 8, Miami. 9, Detroit. And 10, Jacksonville. So the battle for Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and Trey Lance, I think, is the kid from North Dakota State. I would imagine that for Miami, maybe you're looking more at Jamar Chase from LSU, something like that, or the Waddle kid from Alabama, 2 of the top receivers coming out in the draft. That might be something that you're looking at because obviously, Devontae's had his injury history, and even though he's fighting through this injury history, you probably need another young guy there to really create a dynamic receiving core and something really dominant. But right now, that's where, and it's way early. We're only 4 weeks in. That whole thing can completely change, down the line. I don't even expect Miami's pick to be in the top 10 because I expect them to win, more games overall. But that is the draft order right now in the top 10 if it ended today. Okay? Jason says, Big O, what positions you targeting with our 2 first-round picks? Well, I'm not doing any of that, but I just kind of mentioned in passing that I would imagine receiver would be a top pick. If you're in the top 10, you would probably be going for Chase or Waddle. Herman says Bengals are playing Burrow because they don't have another choice, like Chargers now. Well, Chargers weren't going to play this guy either. Tyrod Taylor got injured, bro.
Yeah, they got injured into it.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. The doctor injured the quarterback. That's why. And that's why they're playing. The team doctor knocked out your starting quarterback. Right? I mean, if you're like the head coach, don't you just go down there and like look at the doctor straight in the face and like just knock him out silly? Like, you dumbass. Pat in Asheville says, Big O building up chat borders of self-esteem, one chat at a time. Let's see. Ian, we finally have a young QB waiting in the wings and everybody wants to rush him on the field. Relax. We ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Amen to that. The only way Tua plays in a situation like Justin Herbert and changes the experience with the main QB going down with an injury. Otherwise, it's sit and learn. That's it. Dela Cruz says, if they aren't ready to start Tua, I understand. Then trade for a capable QB because Fitz isn't capable. Is that what you said also in the first couple games last year? When he didn't start off well and then he started to play well? Is that what you said? See, Mr. Dela Cruz is the same dude that complained about Fitz last year. It's the same dude that gives up on Gesicki after year one. It's the same dude. I already have people calling Noah a bust. Dela Cruz is one of those guys. He's the guy that immediately has the knee-jerk reaction and says, no, it can't be. Because you probably said the same thing last year when they benched Fitz and they went with Rosen. And then when Rosen stunk it out, they brought Fitz back, and the rest is history. The guy took off and played really good football for the Dolphins. Knee-jerk reaction.
Probably more than that, developed some guys.
Yeah, and the first interception this week wasn't even his fault. The other day when he threw the 3 interceptions, 2 of them weren't his fault. I'm not sure what people are watching here. I really am not sure what people are watching here. Because it's not like all of them. The second interception this week was terrible on his part. I get it. First wasn't. But you got to watch what's going on. All of the mistakes happening are not his fault. Oh, how do you deal with all this immaturity? Oh, I don't call it immaturity. I just call it silliness. That's all. Silliness, being short-sighted. That's all it is. Kenneth Cleveland chiming in a little love on the Super Chat. There we go, and he says, good morning, Big O. Kenneth Cleveland is in the boom boom room. Jimmy Buckets and those goons from the 305 are in the VIP room going over for plays tonight. I like it. Let's see. What else do we have here? RB Blanco. We could have beat Seattle with 2. Well, yeah, no, of course. You know for sure, RB Blanco, that Tua was going to come off the bench and lead him to a victory. Let me ask you, RB Blanco, why aren't you a head coach or a general manager, bro? Since you know it all. I agree, Billy. Dolphins could package Tua and Houston's pick and maybe an additional pick for Lawrence. Wow. Boy, you guys you've already given up on Tua. You're already moved on to Lawrence. I love it. Big O, are you sold on Preston Williams? Can he and Parker complement each other? Are they too similar? No, I'm totally sold on both of them. Just got to get him healthy, bro. Just got to get him healthy. One guy's coming off a knee injury that he's still in the middle of the whole rehab situation. Everybody knows that when you have a knee injury, you're not yourself until the second year. That first year that you're coming off that knee injury, you're kind of getting your knee back and getting everything back. It's that second year where it's strong, where you feel real confident, where mentally and physically everything goes. That's just normal for most people. You heal within a year, but you're not really yourself until 2. That's just the way it is. And as for Parker, the dude's got a hamstring injury. Picked up an ankle injury this week. It's the way it is. When you offset when you're trying to, make up for one injury with another, this is what ends up happening, dude.
Along those lines, though, would it be smart, because we know hammies, man, they just hang around.
Yeah.
Would it be better to shut him down maybe for a few weeks so that he gets past the hammy?
Problem is,
because it's just going to, it created an ankle now.
That offense without presence,
him, we're in trouble.
There's nobody that brings that. Now they're covering Gesicki really tight, so they're trying to limit Gesicki, and because Parker doesn't have full speed, it's already a limited thing. But you have to worry about him. Teams have to worry about him. You know what I mean? So I think he's out there, and he's also got that attitude like,
he's got the injury bug. Yeah.
I've let you guys down enough. I'm not doing it again, and I respect that from Parker. I respect that a lot from Devontae Parker.
We know what hammies are.
I know.
And now it's gone to his ankle, like you said, because of overcompensation. That happens.
Yep.
This ain't going to go away.
Yep. Let's see. What else do we have here on the program? I think I've read enough.
We got?
Text for now.
We got 57 minutes logged in already.
All right. I love it.
We do have lunch from the Brujeria place.
I broke at the bottom of the hour. Didn't I?
Where were you? Where were you?
I didn't.
There was no break. What are you talking about?
I didn't break.
Are you imagining a break?
Should have broken at the bottom of the hour. Oh, well.
Right. It's all these wonderful texts, man. And half of them are out there. Go get them all.
Big O, I love to have fun with you and Bill on the show, but these people getting all these dumbass comments, well, that's, it happens. What are you going to do, bro? You got silly fans that come up with stupid-ass stuff, like, no, I know Tua would have come in and we would have beat Seattle. Guaranteed. It's like, what are you going to do? You can't argue with that already at that point.
Yeah, as he misses the blitz package pickup, and his hip gets ruined, right?
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need, right? Is for that kid to get injured. Crazy stuff, man. I don't get it. So Luis Robles is going to have surgery on his fractured arm. Inter Miami will likely have to play the rest of the season without its captain, goalkeeper Luis Robles, who is undergoing surgery to repair his fractured left forearm. Robles suffered the injury and stoppage of the 3-2 loss to New York City FC on Saturday when he collided with Gary McKay-Stevens, a play that resulted in a yellow card for the winger from NYCFC. Inter Miami plays on the road Wednesday night against the New York Red Bulls, where Robles was a fan favorite for 8 seasons. MLS veteran John McCarthy is likely the replacement for Robles, with rookie Drake Callender as the backup. That sucks. He has been so awesome. He has been fantastic for this team, man. What a real shame to end up losing him. Really blows. Terrible, terrible loss, man. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. As you all know, that is a 24-hour talk show. Jason says, Big O, PFF rates all of our linebackers pretty low. Landon Roberts, 75th. Who do you see staying and who doesn't pan out? Why don't we wait till the end of the year? I'm not going to make any kind of determination after 4 games. Let me ask you, how were the Dolphins after the 4th game of last year and after the 16th game of last year? Pretty different, right? Again, I'm not here for the knee-jerk reactions. I'm not here for the stupid hypotheticals. You know, you guys can call somebody else or listen to a useless show somewhere else in another station or something. I'm not doing that stuff, bro. Okay, let's wait till we actually have, you know, a large sample size so we can measure everything and we can say, okay, this worked, this hasn't worked. You know what I mean? It's way too early for any of this stuff. You know, I just can't. And by the way, some of these linebackers outside of Kyle Van Noy, are they really paying any of these other guys any money? I'm not even sure. I don't even think that the other guys are getting paid a lot of money. So it's not really that big a deal. It's kind of like the people that freak out about some of the defensive ends. It's not like they're getting like a massive amounts of money or anything like that. It's only a couple guys that are really making. There's only 2 guys making real big money on the roster, and it's really the 2 corners. Kyle Van Noy's deals, it's decent money, but it's only a 2-year deal. You can get out of it quickly. I think I've explained this already a couple times to you guys, to some of you out there, that they're not really spending the kind of money that people think. Like, let's say, let me look for Elandon Roberts here, okay? Just for the hell of it. Elandon Roberts is making $1 million. Base salary and signing bonus, $2 million. Inside linebacker.
It's one of those high-priced ticket free agents.
Camus Grugier Hill, $3 million. $2 million in signing bonus, $1 million base salary. I think Hill has 2 sacks 2 weeks in a row, if I'm correct. Right? And it's just like, what's it called? Shaq Lawson. Base salary of $6.4 million. You know, Kyle Van Noy has a roster bonus of 6.5 and a salary of 3. So you got $9 million there. Okay, making decent money, but it's not the end of the world. And a $200 million cap, it's just not the end of the world. Byron Jones, 11 base, 4.5 roster, 2.1 signing bonus. And you're talking about $17 million. Okay, he's the guy making money. But it's not him and X are the only guys in the double digits like that. Like crazy ass numbers. It's not as that's the thing. You see, like the guy with the linebacker question. What's there to what give me another linebacker on their team? Let me see. Who else do we have here at linebacker? Jerome Baker, 810,000 and 243 combined, $1 million. Andrew Van Ginkel, 675 and 77,000. You know, these are all rookies and second year, and Sam Agwavon, 675. You see what I'm saying? It's like, well, if it's a $15 million, $12 million linebacker and he's not getting it done, then I understand. But again, let's not get crazy about something that there's no reason to get crazy about. Okay? It's like when people say, well, the pass rusher. Okay, are you paying some pass rusher $15, $20 million? No. Okay, so that's why you don't have a dominant pass rusher. That's why you have a whole bunch of rotational pass rushers. That's what Miami has. They haven't spent money on a guy. They don't have it. And they don't want to right now. I don't know why we're not using Breida more, even though we spent money on him, because the other guy is outplaying him. That's another narrative. I don't know why you're going with that. Clearly, Breida has been outplayed by Gaskin. That's why. It has nothing to do with trading a fifth rounder for him. Okay? And Matt Breida, what's he making? Let me see the Matt Breida's making $3.2 million. Oh, they're really breaking the bank with some of these guys. Damn. It's a lot of money. All right, let's take a quick break. We're already an hour in. Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
America's premium sport compact sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. 2020 ILX, $199 a month, $199. And Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody S Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere, and of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moodySdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody S Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231, or go to moodySdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines. I see on the chat board, RB Blanco says, what's the point writing out Fitzmagic? We already know 1 and 3. We know what he is. And how can you learn on the sideline? You need reps in the game, only to learn from experience. So let me ask you, RB Blanco, how did it work out for Mahomes sitting 15 of the 16 games his first year? How did it work out for Aaron Rodgers sitting for like 3 years? Did it work out for those guys? Just wondering. Did it work out? I don't know. You tell me, my man. One sat for 15 games, the other one sat for 3 years. How are their careers working out? Was it so bad for them? I'm just wondering. Is this a ready-made team? Do you really want to put Tua in this situation? I don't know. And for all these, it's just
2 rookie offensive linemen. That right there, bro.
I don't know, man. I have a hard time dealing with just ridiculous stuff. I don't really have as I get older, I don't have a lot of patience for silliness. You know, because like RB Blanco says some stupid-ass shit like that. Like, oh, well, you don't learn by sitting. Well, what happened with Aaron Rodgers, bro? He sat. What happened? You tell me. Pat Mahomes sat his whole rookie year, played just one game, which they didn't know jack about him in one game. It's kind of worked out for him. And those are ready-made teams. And they made those guys wait. Okay? Those were ready-made teams. Miami's not ready-made. Whoever comes in has to carry this team. So not only are you starting the rookie, you're also making him a savior. See, that's the problem with some of you asswipes out there. You guys, you want to throw him out there, and then you want him to be your savior too. So if the kid is not your savior and the team isn't very good around him and it's really hard to win, now it's all of a sudden his fault. Okay? Because that's what it is. RB Blanco is one of those phonies. You'll throw him in there, and he'll struggle because he doesn't know the league. He doesn't know all the defenses. The team is not great. He's not necessarily great yet. All of that, and so all of a sudden he sucks. Because RB Blanco probably said Drew Brees sucks. Drew Brees sucks. Drew Brees sucks. And then all of a sudden Drew Brees becomes a Hall of Famer. Because Drew Brees sucked for 3 years. You can't win with people like this. That's all. They want to complain about him not playing, so they can't wait for Tua to play, so then they can complain about him playing now. That's all it is. They're not going to have, like RB Blanco has no understanding of what the team is now. So why would he have an understanding why the guy, when he does play, struggles? In other words, those of you clamoring that Tua must play now, what I'm trying to tell you is, you don't know football. $786-322-1105. That's all it is. You're just a fucking idiot. That's all. You're just acting like an idiot. You don't know jack. You're the one. That guy wanted Matt Flynn. That's the guy that wanted Matt Flynn. Right there. What's his name? Rob, what is it? What the hell's this silly ass's name that sent in that text? Where is he? RB Blanco. That's the silly fool right there that wanted Matt Flynn. Right there. Those are the guys. The guys that want Matt Flynn are the guys that want Tua in right now. The guys that will rip Tua once he struggles. The guy that's ripping Fitz now because it's not all his fault. It's the same dude. Same dude. The same exact guy. Perfect. I'm telling you. And they all throw rocks and hide. Every one of them. RB Blanco is one of those guys that throws rocks and hides. They're all those guys. They're all the same, bro. All the same. All they do is complain all day. They complain about this. They'll complain about that. They're never happy with anything. And they have no patience. So it's everybody else's fault, obviously. That's exactly what's going on. Yeah, clásico me mierdería. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. Many ways to chime in on the show. We got the Heat Lakers. I got to tell you, I hate the fact that I got to wait till 9 freaking o'clock for this game. It pisses me off having to wait till 9 o'clock for this game. It really does. I can't stand it. It's one of those things like I almost feel like if I should do the show now till 9 o'clock, just so I can keep myself entertained. Because I find myself either I'm working or I'm doing something, I'm running, and I keep looking at my watch like, damn, dude, when's 9 o'clock? We're going to roll around. Because I'm dying for this game. And I do fear the game a little bit because I don't know what the hell I'm going to get. Because once we lost Bam and Goran, I just don't think they're going to win it at all. Hell, I'm even surprised they won a game. I got to admit. You know, I told somebody that we're going to need a Rex Chapman-like performance against the Bulls, and that's exactly what Jimmy gave us. Instead of 39, he scored 40. Rex Chapman scored 39 against Michael with 8 people on the roster, and they won. But, you know, can we get another one of those performances tonight from Jimmy? I just hope that the time speeds up here and we're able to get to it with the quickness. Let's give you our picks in the NBA slate. Right now, as you all know that are following our show every day, we are smoking hot in our NBA picks. We are 40, 27, and 2 against the number. We are 13 above 500. So you making some money with us here. The game tonight is up to 8 points, okay? Lakers are -8, all right? And the over and under is 218.5. Now, I have been riding the over a little bit on this series, but if Bam's going to play or try to play, then I think it's going to become a little bit more of a defensive series. I think there'll be slightly less points in this game. So I'm actually going to go in on the under in this game at 218.5. And the Lakers are favored by 8. I'm going to take the dog. I'm going to count on the Heat to fight, scratch, and claw and keep this game as close as possible, or backdoor it, or maybe pull off another win, which would be just phenomenal. Because, you know, if the Heat find a way to win this game and even it up 2-2, LeBron James is, you know, he has a history, okay? So it kind of, as great as he has a history of giving up some things and falling short in series. So if Miami wants to put any doubt and really frustrate LeBron, beat him tonight. Beat him tonight, and then he's got to look into around the locker room and go, yo, we're down to a 3-game set, and they're showing us more dog than what we got. Okay? And I got to tell you, the Anthony Davis thing, where, like, he turns it up one game and then he doesn't turn it up in another, and then he's got to, like, coax himself into giving a great effort in the next go-around. He did it, you know, in the last series. Now he did it again in this series, and it's like he's got to talk himself into being some kind of a badass again. That's I find that disturbing for superstars. To me, if you're a superstar, you got to bring it all the time because that's got to be part of your DNA. So now we've motivated Anthony Davis to go out and give a better effort than he has in the prior game. Whatever. That's what you want to do, then go for it, my brother. Knock yourself out. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Jose Banos giving a little love on the Super Chat. He says, love the show, Big O. Nobody is as real as you. Always speaking the truth, my man. Fins up. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, as always. Gio says, the win on Sunday was a modified zone defense that will be attacked tonight by the Lakers. Brother, whatever it is, modified zone, regular zone, you name it, they outplayed them, period. Question is, can you outplay them again? That's all. Mr. Dela Cruz, love Miami, but I believe Lakers will take this game. Yeah, well, they should, brother. They're the better team right now. They've got the two superstars. We're missing two guys that are imperative to the existence of the Heat this year. Big O, happy belated birthday. Did the wife take you out to Prime 112 for a nice filet mignon? You look like a steak man. Yes, I did get a steak, but I brought it home. Okay? I am not going to a restaurant right now, bro. Can't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. I am not going to sit there and eat and sit without a mask inside a restaurant. I can't do that. I would sit outside in a terrace somewhere if I'm separated from people maybe, but, you know, there aren't a lot of steakhouses made up that way. So we had the steak brought to the house instead, okay? Let's see. So sad, according to GP Trap. This is Flores' second year, sweet Jesus, doing great and changing the culture. He's building a winner. I'm feeling it more than any other coach in the recent past. I agree. It's just a matter of patience, with a lot of people don't have. And Alexis, thank you again, by the way, for the birthday well wishes from last week. I appreciate it. Big O, I'm glad Coach Flo put to rest this Tua situation. These people are still looking for instant gratification for the 20 years of inept front office failures. Amen. Brandon says, that's why the Heat will win again tonight. LOL. Jimmy said, we found something, and I believe him. I hope you're right, man. I hope Jimmy's right. Let's see. Butler is not lights out every night. We have to depend on Bam, Hero, and Robinson. I agree, especially Hero and Robinson. Those two guys are completely on milk cartons. They need to wake the hell up. They have not done a good job. You know what I mean? So, what can I tell you? What can I say? All right, 786-322-1105. Let me see what the text line has. We have not checked the text line today here on the program. And we do have I got a bunch of other things that I also want to get to. Let's see. Big O, I think Shannon Sharp made a great point and publicly exposed the Lakers' weakness in a series of a couple days ago. I'll send you the link. Okay, I got the link here, but I have not. I got to. Maybe I'll check it out in a break, my brother, and look at it. RVA says you're totally correct. In this area, Dwayne Haskins is being dogged. Bad team. Yeah. And Dwayne Haskins is young. You're not going to see the real Dwayne Haskins for a couple of years if he is going to break through and become that guy. And I'm sure that on a bad team like Washington, he's going to get ripped because they're not winning big and they're not turning the corner. It's a shame, too, because Washington actually has a decent defense, man. They've got some real defensive talent. Miami's population is over 2 million, and 93% are bitter Dolphin fans that cannot take losses. Well, it's all the losses, that's why. And they put everything together. That's the problem. They're thinking of the last 20-plus years when the guys that are here are not responsible for all of that. You know? The Dolphins' best offensive player is playing injured Parker. You are correct, Richard. Can't argue with that. You saw that Connor McDavid ended up getting COVID-19, the Oilers superstar, best player in hockey, top 3, top 5 player in hockey, whatever. That's what I want Barkov to be. And if Barkov can't be that, then you've got the wrong guy as your number one guy. And I know Connor McDavid's a badass, but what I'm saying is he plays like that. He has the fire to play like that. But anyway, wish him the best. Hopefully a speedy and healthy recovery of COVID-19. It would be really, really nice. What else do we have? Did you see Joey Chestnut, Bill, what he did the other day? Did you catch that?
I don't know, but I'll tell you right now, I'm glad I did it, okay?
All right. Well, Joey Chestnut all right, devoured, just ate up a 12-pound walking taco. Now, when I saw it, is this a taco that has legs? But anyway, Joey Chestnut celebrated National Taco Day by crushing a massive 12-pound walking taco in 38 minutes. A walking taco is essentially a bunch of taco ingredients stuffed inside a big chip bag. The goat would have been competing in the annual Pacific Park World Taco Eating Championship on Sunday if it weren't for COVID-19, but nothing can stop the dude from eating insane amounts of taco on the food holiday. So Jaws took matters into his own hands and made a humongous walking taco in the comfort of his own kitchen and listed all the ingredients. 2 pounds of chips, 3 pounds of ground beef, 2+ pounds of cheese, 1+ pound of salsa, 6+ pounds of avocado, onions and sour cream, Joey's signature green hatchet jalapeno sauce. 6 pounds of avocado would keep me on the porcelain throne for like 2 months. Like, if I wanted to clean out my insides, I would just eat 6 pounds of avocado, and boy, I would clean everything inside. You know how people do that, what's that called when you clean your intestines and all that? What's that called? It's not fasting, it's
a flush.
Yeah, it's like a flush, yeah. But it's not, there's another word for it. It's not flush.
Intestinal flush?
You're in the right area, but it's
cleansing,
I
intestinal
think
cleansing.
it's cleansing. I think it's cleansing. Yes, I think it's cleansing. It might be. But anyway, so I could see that, but wow, 3 pounds of ground beef, bro.
I was going to say, just let alone, what, a pound of
2
sauce?
pounds of cheese.
6 pounds of avocado?
Yes. Pound of
Dude,
salsa.
you don't even want to eat a pound of avocado, let alone 6 of them.
God.
See, like I said, it's one of those stories that, like, I would casually, but then my stomach, like, look at your face. Exactly.
Can't do it, bro.
See, now I'm ruined, man. I can't do my steak de milanesa and my ropa vieja on the way.
Joey, by the way, guzzled 82 street-style carnita tacos in 8 minutes to win last year's eating competition in Santa Monica. 82 street-style carnitas tacos in 8 minutes, bro. That is gross, man. That's just absolutely gross. Is he married? Like, I mean, does he have a bed that has a toilet in the middle? Is that what he does? After you eat all that, you just sit on the bed and just fire away?
Why would you want to put your body through that?
I don't know. Well, money.
Yeah, but
it's how he makes a living.
You know how painful that would be?
Yeah.
He's got to be a miserable guy for a few days, right? At least a few days.
He probably has his own system, and he's probably used to it now. He's probably used to it.
That is not something that I would want to get used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Come on, Doll fans. Stop being bitter and stupid in your comments and be realistic. It's a work in progress with this coaching staff and players. There will be changes coming, I promise you. Flores sits if you don't perform well and then you get shipped out. That's why Flores will be a great coach. And Sergio comes in with the colonic cleansing. Thank you. Alexis, Don Parlamento, EM Dolphin fan. Ian from Brooklyn says, Hershey squirts on deck. GP Trap Hewitt, holy massive relief, Batman. Miguel Garcia says, I love tacos. GP Trap Hewitt says, I would die. De La Cruz says, Newton will be back once Dolphins play Patriots again, but do you think the Dolphins could beat the Patriots if they were without Newton? Dude, they beat him with Brady last year and less talent. Let me repeat that again. They were a better team in Week 17 than they are now. They had a Hall of Fame quarterback in Tom Brady. they had less talent than they did last year, and they beat them. That's the part that I don't understand, that people are not looking at it. This is how it goes. They kind of restructured the team again in the offseason. They turned over the roster again. It takes a little while for them to figure things out, the strengths and weaknesses of players, the health and injuries and stuff like that going on, and then they'll get better as the season goes on. And they're already competitive, something they even weren't last year. Guys gotta easy. Big O need to roll one up and relax. No, dude, I'm relaxed. It's just some of you out there, like you, RB Blanco, that you come up with some crazy-ass shit that makes no sense. I don't need to roll any. You need to roll it up and relax. Okay? Tua ain't coming in right now, and there's no reason to put him in right now. It's not the right time to put him in. The right time will come when everything is perfect. Right now, you're setting the kid up for failure. So I would tell you to roll up. I would tell you to chill out. Okay? I'm telling you, I'm giving you common sense. If you want to smoke the sense only, well, that's up to you, my man. I can't help you on that. All right. Did I ever end up giving my picks? I didn't, right? All right, let me give you my picks in the NBA slate tonight, since we are smoking 40, 27, and 2. The Lakers are favored by 8. The over and under's 218.5. I am going to go Heat plus 8 in this one. I'm going to go with the under 218.5. I'm expecting Bam to play. If Bam plays, I think it'll be a more defensive effort. I think it'll be more half-court oriented. So if it is that, I think the scoring will be slightly under. We're going to be sweating it, okay? This is going to be one of those, Vegas. I mean, I took the over last time at 218.5 and it ended up at 219. I think it'll be slightly under now if Bam ends up playing. I don't think you get more offense. I think you get more defense, and I think you get a slower-paced game, because I think Miami's going to want to make it more of a half-court because the Lakers suck at shooting. I know that the Lakers, in the first couple games really shot way above their average and their normalcy. I think it'll get back to where it was in the last game, where they're not good shooters. So I think it'll be slightly under the 218.5. So I'm going to take the Heat plus 8, and I'm going to take 218.5 under in that one. Lakers, by the way, in the money line are minus 315. The Heat are plus 255 in the money line. So if you bet 100, you will make 255 by betting on the Heat. In an hour, we're going to have Anthony Chang with us from the Miami Herald. He will join us to preview a little bit of the Heat game. We're going to take a quick break. Let's get Flo in when we come back. Let's hear from the head coach. Also, Chang Gailey addressed the media. We got to also play Chang Gailey for you here on the show. But let's take a break. We'll come back. I want to break Flo's comments down when we come back, and hopefully we'll also have Chang Gailey's comments. We'll get to that, too, right here on The Big O Show. Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction. Listen, I've been telling you about Eric for a long time now. Custom home builder for additions, home remodeling. We're not talking about a handyman. Maybe you want to redo that man cave. We're not going to a lot of live sporting events. So you want to improve that experience in your man cave? Call them 305-433-4843. Tell them that Big O sent you and go to the Instagram page. You can see the before and after there. You'll be impressed. EJD_construction. Call them 305-433-4843 or go to the website ejdconstruction.com.
America's premium sports sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. TLX $259 a month. $259 at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we're back. John Rouse is in the house. He says, what do we do with the #1 pick if we get it, trade it away? We'll find out. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you draft it. Maybe you trade it away for a king's ransom. You just don't know. Again, let's wait till we get there. There's no way we have the #1 pick, by the way. None. Zero. No shot. All right? Houston will even win a game or two. I would love for Houston to lose all the games, but they'll win a game or two. Something will happen. You know what I mean? But we'll see down the line. Speaking of that, I'm glad you kind of led me to that. Bill O'Brien got fired yesterday, and I would imagine that a lot of Dolphin fans were disappointed that Bill O'Brien got fired yesterday, because he has done such a magnificent job of managing the Texans to an 0-4 record. And since Miami owns their first and second round picks, that pick is looking really good right now. Like I told you, it's #4 overall in the draft. So you're guaranteed of whatever, dude. A tackle, a quarterback, a wide receiver. You know, there's lots of things that you're going to be able to get. A pass rusher. You're going to have an opportunity at a top-notch player, or you're also going to have an opportunity at making a trade because somebody, you know, let's say, all right, I don't think Houston be 1, but let's say they're number 2, 3, or 5, or 4, or something like that in the top 5. You're going to have an opportunity to trade that pick for Justin Fields or Trey Lance, because those are 2 other quarterbacks that are coming out, and people will want them. So that might become a really attractive piece down the line for this team to pick up more picks and kind of better your football team, too, in the process. I mean, the Laramie Tunsil one is going to become, hopefully, a game-changing move, because think about this. Austin Jackson already looks good. And I know the kid just suffered a foot injury. Hopefully it's not too serious and he can play again this week, if not, at least by next week. But if you already solved your left tackle problem and you have 2 more picks, my Lord, does it get any better than that? Seriously. Does it get any better than that? That's freaking awesome. So you look at it, and Bill O'Brien, it's Adam Gase, it's Dan Quinn. These are people that for a while now I have been baffled how they still have jobs in the NFL. Bill O'Brien should have been fired a while ago. I mean, this offseason he alienated his best wide receiver, his best weapon on offense next to his quarterback, the guy that makes his quarterback's life a lot easier, and you got rid of him because you have so many cap issues now that you've had to pay other people that you just didn't work it out the right way. The Laramie Tunsil trade was stupid on his part. Sure, you got yourself a left tackle, but you gave up way too much for that. And if you know how to draft him, this is what I like. These people sometimes they pick on Chris Greer. Well, he picked Tunsil, and now he picked Austin Jackson. Some tells me he knows something about corners. He picked X in the second round, right? Picked Bobby McCain. They found Nick Needham that helped out last year, and I'm sure Noah will turn into a good player. Got an eye for corners, too. I mean, this is when you're able to hit on some picks, you're going to set your team up in a big-time way. But Bill O'Brien is a guy that I don't know how he has a job. He has never – it's like you call Adam Gase a quarterback guru, and he's never developed a quarterback. John Gruden is a quarterback guru that has never developed a quarterback. Bill O'Brien has never developed a quarterback. And his prize, recruit at Penn State was Christian Hackenberg. And that guy sucked. He was a waste. What was it? The Jets, I think, took him? A total waste. He was supposed to win Heismans and all that stuff. Didn't win a Heisman and wasn't anything in the NFL. Bill O'Brien is the guy that goes and pisses off Tom Brady on the sidelines. Bill O'Brien always thought he was the smartest guy in the room, and he was never the smartest guy in the room. Adam Gase thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. You know what's the best part about, the part that I got to laugh, and why Houston, I think, will be Houston. Now the story comes out that they're targeting Josh McDaniels. And you saw how he handled or mishandled everything in Denver, then how he backed out of the job in Cleveland. I don't see this guy as a leader of men. Maybe he's just an offensive coordinator. Maybe that's where he belongs. But I think you'd be taking a major risk naming Josh McDaniel your head coach. And that's why maybe the Texans will be, screwing it up again because of that. But I saw that story, and Bill, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Every Dolph fan from the bottom of our hearts, we love you. Thank you for the picks. Thank you for the incredibly stupid trade that you made with the Dolphins. And as for the Houston Texans, well, you keep on being a complete screw-up, and, go after Josh McDaniels. That'll definitely help out. Let's see. Raging Dolphin Maniac. How much do I believe in what the Finns are doing? I live near Buffalo, and I'm wearing my Finns gear again. I haven't done that in 20 years. Good things are coming. Nice. I like it. John says, maybe the Bears can pick up O'Brien. Wouldn't Bill love that? Yeah, probably Bill would love that. He would love Bill O'Brien over with the Bears. Yeah, he's such a quarterback guru. He can mold Trubisky into a winner. That's what Bill O'Brien will do. We got a 4:05 game on Sunday, which means I get to enjoy the red zone during the 1 o'clock hour. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. All right, let's hear from Flo, bro. You got Flo's presser from yesterday? Let's play Flo's presser, and we kind of know now that he addressed the quarterback situation and named Fitz the starter, but I wanted to go over the press conference yesterday and a couple of the comments. Go ahead, Bill. fire off Mr. Brian Flores, the head coach of your Miami Dolphins.
Brian, who's going to be your quarterback on Sunday?
I mean, look, we're still going through corrections of the game from yesterday. So, as a staff, we normally kind of start talking about this, this evening. I mean, Fitz, I thought we moved the ball, pretty efficiently yesterday. So, look, I understand where everybody's coming from with Tua, and I get all that. At the same time, he's a young player. He's coming off the injury, so we'll make the decision on the starter. But I mean, I would presume that it's going to be Fitzpatrick.
Stop it. Hey, Flo, I know Austin Jackson and Bobby McCain both returned to the game, but how did they come out of it? Austin with the foot injury and then Bobby after the concussion, being tested for the concussion, excuse me.
They're still, both getting treatment. I think, Bobby went back in, played well. Austin went back in, had to come back out. So both, with our medical staff, it's the day after the game, so we got nicks and bruises, really in a few different places. So we'll see how it goes throughout the week, and we'll take it from there. But it's the day after the game, so guys are bruised up, but we'll see where we're at on Wednesday.
Steve Wine.
Brian, teams react to losing differently. Your players yesterday seemed particularly angry. Do you find encouragement in that reaction?
Yeah, I think our guys, they work hard. They prepare well. We didn't get the things done we talked about getting done. I think they understand that, and they're all competitive. So that's how I felt after the game. So. I mean, they felt the same way. I think it just speaks to how competitive they are, and I think we'll just come back, get back to it on once we start preparing for another good team in the 49ers, and try to turn things around.
Cam.
Hey Flo, how you doing? I know that you mentioned Tua and his injuries and stuff before, but I know there's two rookie quarterbacks played so far in Burrow and Herbert. Does their early success have any influence on maybe how well you think Tua will play once he gets that opportunity?
No, I think every player is different. Every situation is different. So, no, I really don't, look at other players, and I don't play the comparison game with, players or really anyone. We're going to do what we feel is best for the Dolphins and for the individual players. Tua or Fitz or Austin Jackson or Robert Hunt or whoever it happens to be. I think it's all case by case. So we don't, look at other situations and make decisions off of what other people are doing. We try to do what's best for us, and we'll make decisions with that in mind.
When you look at this situation and Cam Wolf and what's it called? I think it was Hal that were asking about Tua. I don't think it's one of those. Look, he can't be happy with the end result of all the field goals. He knows he needs more from that offense. But is it more than what the quarterback can give you, or is it more about getting your players healthy? Right now, you got to hope that your left tackle can get healthy enough to play. Preston Williams is not going to be healthy at all this season. Maybe his knee will get better as the year goes on, or it might fatigue as the year goes on because you're putting wear and tear on something that is surgically repaired. And so you haven't built up that stamina. Then you've got your other receiver who is dealing with a hamstring injury and an ankle injury. So right now, are you getting the max out of your offense because of your players or because of your quarterback. And right now, I think what the coach is more leaning towards is that Fitz is doing. Think about this, because a lot of you that are set on this whole Tua thing. Okay, so if receivers aren't open and Fitz is running a lot, okay, let me walk you through this, because I think some of you aren't necessarily thinking about this. Okay, I'll give you an example. This week against Seattle, all right, Fitzpatrick rushed the ball. Oh, wait a minute. Hit the wrong one. Here we go. My bad. All right. In this game, Fitzpatrick rushed the ball 6 times for 47 yards. That means guys weren't open. That means that play was done at that moment. So the only way that he could find running, or keep the drive alive is running. So do you want Tua running 6 times against Seattle? Huh? Walk me through that. Do you? Because you look at it, and let me go through his game logs, right? And in fact, wait a minute. Here we go. Let me see if I have here the rushing attempts. Rushing attempts. Oh, damn it. All right. I won't be able to do it like this. I'm going to have to go by game. But think about this, okay? If I go for the stats for the year on Tua, on Fitz, okay? For the year, do you know how many rushes this guy has? He has 21 rushes. That means your offense has failed in 21 different situations. Maybe there was a design run there, maybe 1 or 2 or 3, let's say 18 of them. So in the first 4 games, you've run the ball 18 times. Let's just say, out of the play breaking down, those are 18 extra hits that Tua is going to take. And those guys are ruthless. They know he's coming back from a hip injury. Where do you think they're going to aim? So it's not just the sacks. It's not just the hurries and the hits that he's going to take. It's also running, because the offense is not necessarily as productive as you might think it is. So right now, Fitz has to be a runner in order for you to be effective as a football team. And if he's running 22 times in the first 4 games, you do the math. That guy's running practically 6 times a game. 5 point something, whatever you want to, break it down to. I'm sorry, man. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. I don't know how you want that at this point in time. This is not the right time to play Tua. Go ahead. Continue with the coach.
In weeks and months past, you've been more definitive about Fitz absolutely being your starter, no question about it. Was there something either in the game or when you reviewed the film that gave you pause, that made you wonder, if he's the right guy at this moment?
Oh, the pause was, we haven't even gone through the corrections on the game. We're actually in the middle of that right now, so it wasn't on based off of anything in the game. So I hope you guys don't take that the wrong way. But every week we come in on Monday evening after we make all the corrections. Look, we're a quarter of the way through the season now, so we're gonna obviously do an evaluation of our team from that standpoint, and try to play the guys we feel are going to help us turn this thing around and play better in situations like red zone and 2-minute and the fourth quarter, and that'll be at all positions. So that was kind of a conversation we just had as a staff. So I guess that's what gave me some pause. Not something from the game. We just talked about reevaluating everything, every position, every grouping, and we always do that. After every quarter, let's say, and try to moving forward, do the best, do the things that we've been doing well, and try to continue to build on those, and then obviously improving the things where we haven't had as much success.
Stop it.
Hey Flo, I know 1-3 is obviously not ideal. Especially with regards to the division and playoffs and things like that. It's going to be a long season. How do you kind of take your start into your approach for the rest of the season? Do you guys still feel like you have a great chance to do something special here?
Look, we take this one game at a time. And like you said, it's a long season. We'll take it one game at a time. We got a big test on the road in San Francisco. I think you start thinking about the end of the season and what that's going to look like. I mean, we need to put our energy on this week and our preparation this week. Leave it right there, and then let the results take care of themselves. But if we start thinking about down the road, then that's probably not going to help us all that much.
Josh.
Hey Flo, good afternoon. I only asked as a follow-up to your first response regarding Tua. Since you did bring address the injury in the answer, in terms of his health, has he checked all the boxes that you guys have looked for in camp and in practices, or are there still any hesitations or lingering questions in regard to either his hip or the mobility?
No, he's checked all the boxes from a medical standpoint. He has. I think we just look. I mean, the honest thing for me is if it was my kid and he had a serious injury like that, I wouldn't want his coach to be in a rush to throw him in there because of media pressure or anything like that. So that's kind of how I approach this situation and really all situations with the players. They, essentially they are my kids. So, there's no one's going to pressure me into doing anything. And when we feel like he's ready to go, we'll put him in.
Cam?
Hey Flo, we saw I guess Shaq got hurt yesterday with the shoulder. How's he doing, and was there any other injuries that you guys came out of from the game?
I mean, guys are banged up. We had a few different guys were banged up. You mentioned Shaq, so he had to look like he had a shoulder. He went out, went back in. I guess he's sore today, but I think he'll be okay. Honestly, he's a tough guy, and he wants to be out there. So, but we had a couple other guys who were banged up, and I'm hopeful that we'll get most everybody back Wednesday.
All right, Coach, we have one more question for Joe Shad.
Flo, I was going to ask you about Byron Jones. He was pretty hopeful when he spoke at the end of the week, but then ended up being listed as doubtful. How hopeful are you that he has a good chance to get back this week?
Yeah, well, he had a good week last week, like he mentioned to you guys. Again, we just felt like he wasn't, ready all the way ready to go this week. But we're hopeful that this week, last week I should say, but we're hopeful that this week we'll see him a little bit more in practice, and then if he does well in practice, then he'll play next week.
There you go. That's the head coach, Brian Flores, addressing the media yesterday. We went over his comments. As obviously the Tua situation becomes the main topic, which has been from the second you drafted him. All right, it is time to continue in this Dolphin conversation. Josh Tolentino, baby. It is a Tolentino Tuesday, and Josh is always kind enough to join us normally at 12:30, but I screwed up. My bad. I
don't feel alone in that.
No, it's
both of us.
It's my fault. So I had to supposed to call him at 12:30, so now we got him here at noon. He's kind enough to adjust with us. Follow him on Twitter at JCT Sports, and then, of course, catch his work there at The Athletic. He is Josh Tolentino. Josh, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing on a Tuesday?
Hey, Big O, no worries on the time. You know, hopefully I can make things sound coherent. I'm calling you from sitting on a Peloton, but already, to go and talk Dolphins here, man. It's a big week in terms of, what the fans want and, what Flores want. So,
well, what did you decipher through all of this? Because I am personally not the person that wants Tua in there yet. I don't see the offense where it needs to be. It's not as consistent as they need it to be on the O-line and the running game yet. Pass protection's pretty good. But I was giving an explanation now. Fitz has run the ball 22 times. That tells you that the offense isn't where it needs to be, and he has to go run to keep the offense alive. I don't want Tua running an extra 22 times. I don't want him taking the shots that Fitz is taking. I don't want him taking any of the sacks that Fitz is taking. So I'm not sure right now is the right time to put him in. I am good with the coach taking some time. So how do you look at it, and how do you decipher it all?
Yeah, I think you look at where the team sits at 1-3. Yeah, they got more losses than wins, but I think I'm going to agree with you that it's still too early. Maybe if a couple more losses consecutively pile up, it might be to a time, and they seriously have to consider that conversation to, if Fitz isn't able to guide this team to a winning record or even close to like a 500 record, a few weeks down. But in terms of Tua's health, I think you bring up a great point. This offensive line, there's 4 new starters on that line. The only returner is Jesse Davis. And, Jesse Davis hasn't done a stellar job, and he would be the one protecting Tua's backside. So I think you bring up some excellent points in terms of it's still too early, but, if these losses continue to pile up and if Fitz continues to throw some more interceptions, then it's going to be time for a serious conversation, because especially you see a couple other rookie quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, doing well. I know they're both on losing teams, but in terms of the production, I mean, they're out there and they're lighting it up. So it'd be the smart thing to at least think about it here in this next month or so.
Yes, I agree. Well, but the next month now you're into November. Now we're getting to a year removed from the surgery. That to me, see, now we're getting into the second half of the season. That's kind of where I viewed you should play them at a point where you're mathematically ineligible for the playoffs, at a point where you hope that the offensive line has developed and is going to give him time. That's what I think you've got to do. You've got to create an environment where he can actually go in there and be competitive. My fear out of all of this is that you put him in there and you've got a lot of fans and even some media thinking that he's the savior. And then that's where you actually set everybody up to fail.
Yeah, I think dating back to April when they selected him, with the 5th overall pick, he just created a buzz of knowing who Tua is and what he accomplished at Alabama and just that electric kind of magic arm that we've seen, even in practice, what he's capable of doing. But again, it goes back to playing the waiting game. It's Fitz, even before the season, he knew that he was the placeholder, and he knows he's not the long-term answer at quarterback here, and that he's guiding Tua to eventually take over. I think the biggest thing here, is that when fans see, and it's easy to judge interceptions, touchdowns, production, but each week that Tua sits behind Fitz, it's another week for the offensive line to get established, another week for Chan Gailey to continue to mentor Tua and teach him the playbook and his play style, and also kind of for just Tua to see how NFL defenses attack not only this offensive line, but just how they game plan against the Dolphins. So by waiting, I don't think the Dolphins are really hurting themselves. They're only helping Tua. And again, you bring up the year mark. I think that 12-month mark here in the next month and a half, then it should be time to seriously consider if Tua can get in there.
And a month and a half from now, you hope that Parker becomes healthy. You hope that Preston gets a little bit more comfortable coming off that knee injury and the rehab, because as you know, Josh, you've been in this business for a while. You know none of these athletes are who they are normally in that first year of rehab. It's really 2021 when Preston's going to feel like himself again. So you're kind of, playing through the rehab year this year, like every player does when they're coming back from an injury. That's the other thing that I'm trying to explain to people. You're not going to put Tua in an optimal situation. You're actually putting him in a situation where there are deficiencies that he has to overcome. Like right now, this is, when people are saying, well, why aren't they going deep? Well, because they don't have the players to go deep right now. Albert Wilson took the damn year off, and Parker right now is not healthy enough to run past people at this point in time with the injury. Things aren't where they need to be for not just Fitz, but certainly not for Tua.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I deciphered from talking to Flo yesterday afternoon, was that, a month or so back, they cut Josh Rosen, which was the ultimate sign that said Tua is healthy if he had to come in,
right?
At any point during a game. But coming in and, providing backup midway or even towards the end of the game to Fitz is totally different than starting the game as the starter. So from a physical and health standpoint, Tua is okay, and he's checked all those boxes. But in terms of readiness and preparedness and just really the mental side, you talk about the 1 year of rehab. I think they want to inch closer to that 1 year date, which is, actually around that same time frame of Preston Williams. So you bring up two great points there.
Yeah, and again, I think this is you want to give him time to heal, but at the same time, you also want to put him in a position where he can succeed. You don't want him to end up like David Carr, okay? Derek came into a much better situation in the NFL, and then a couple years in, he ended up suffering a couple of injuries. David Carr never got into a good situation because he was on an expansion team, a bad team, took a pounding, overall, and never really was the same again. That's what you don't want with this kid right now. We've watched Fitz so far for a year and 4 games take an absolute pounding. That's really not the situation you want to put this kid in. And he's not – this is the other thing I hate. Oh, well, Justin Herbert's playing. Well, Joe Burrow's playing. Well, those guys aren't coming off injuries, and those guys are 6'5", 6'6". They're huge human beings, bro. Tua's not a big kid. It's also a different ball game. When he takes a hit, he's going to feel it a lot more than Justin Herbert. Do we have you, Josh? Did we lose him?
Yeah. You
there
got
we
me?
go. Go ahead. Now, go ahead.
No, I was saying that you look at some of the top-tier quarterbacks in the league, the Aaron Rodgers, is the Patrick Mahomes. Look at their rookie years and what they did. They sat behind, obviously Brett Favre and Alex Smith. And
ready-made teams. Ready-made teams. Okay?
Yep,
Which Miami isn't.
Yep, exactly. And you say that Fitz isn't, that type of quarterback, but it's still the same concept. It's just this process of being mentored and being, slowly guided into the role and not being thrown out there. Again, you look at the record, I think it's still too early. Yeah, there's more losses than wins, but give it another month here, and if they go 1-3 again, then it's time to seriously consider again maybe putting Tua back there.
Josh Tolentino from The Athletic joins us every week to talk a little Dolphins. Josh, what do you know about Austin Jackson's injury? He was able to come back and play, but this is a tough sumbitch, man, because we're talking about a guy that donated bone marrow a month before the season started and played the entire college football season, didn't miss a snap. I almost expect this guy to play because he's already shown me incredible mental and physical toughness in his young career.
Yeah, Chan Gailey and Steve Marshall, the offensive line coach, they actually both spoke earlier this morning, and there was still no ruling. Obviously, I think it's still too early. It's worth paying attention to, especially since he didn't come back in the game. And I think Dolphins fans are all aware of what Julian Davenport is capable of in terms of his limitations. So Austin Jackson, I mean, he's proven to be actually one of the better left tackles in the league through these first few games. So I think he's proven that he's the better option there, but they just want to make sure everything's right with his foot, and I think we'll know a lot more as the week progresses. They've got a long trip here, 3,000 miles to San Francisco, but these 3 days of practice are going to be crucial for guys like him and others battling little nicks and injuries.
When you look at this week's game, this is a winnable game, man. With all the injuries that San Francisco has, I look at the next 2 weeks, San Francisco and Denver. Miami's 3 losses are to teams that are 10-2 right now. That's their record, 10-2, and only 2 because obviously New England lost Cam, and they definitely had no shot yesterday with Brian Hoyer at freaking quarterback. I wish we would have gotten Brian Hoyer here. Miami probably wins that damn game. But I think people are kind of also panicking a little bit, and they're not really realizing that Miami has started the season off against, a really tough schedule right now, and yet they've been competitive in pretty much every one of these games.
Yeah, you look at the other, 3-1, 1-3 teams around the league. I mean, the Bears are 3-1. The Browns are 3-1, and I think the Miami puts themselves up against, not just the talent, but just the team, those teams in general. I mean, I think they've matched up pretty well, and this team could easily be match that record. You look at all 4 games; all 4 of them have been winnable until that fourth quarter. But specifically concentrating, on San Francisco, you bring up excellent points, though. I mean, they're extremely banged up. Jimmy Garoppolo's status, they want to probably get him back there as quick as possible, seeing the mess on Sunday night football. I mean, that Eagles team came in winless, and they got their first victory there. I mean, it's a very winnable game on all fronts, and, I mean, it's kind of one of those ambush games, though. They're banged up right now, but, I mean, this is a team that reached the Super Bowl last year, and if you're able to put this in the victory column, I mean, it looks like a pretty good win. I mean, although San Francisco is banged up, but, I mean, anytime you put that Niners team right there on the win column, it's going to look like a good win in terms of the overall season.
I'm with you there. Josh, any other injuries we should be aware of for the Dolphins going into this week?
I think everything is just concentrated right on Austin Jackson and Tua. I mean, he popped up with that illness last week, missed a couple days of practice, but the ultimate sign was that he was active on game day, which he has been all 4 games. So, again, from a health standpoint, the Dolphins trust him enough to trot him out there and to be active and to serve as that primary backup. I think now it just comes to the timeline of the patience that Flores has with Fitz trying to guide this team to a winning record. And also understanding that, hey, when the team is out of contention or when they're mathematically eliminated, like what you say, that then it'll be Tua time, but not quite Tua time yet.
Are we going to get Byron Jones? Because I almost get a feeling like Byron will play this week.
Yeah, I think with Byron, it's again, he doubled already. I mean, in 5 years, it's crazy to think about because, the typical wear and tear of your body playing in the NFL. I mean, week to week, it's the most demanding physical sport in the game. I mean, in all of sports. I mean, in 5 years, Byron Jones only missed 1 game, and it was his final season in Dallas last year. So he played in 79 of 80 games. And in Miami, he's already missed 2, essentially almost 3, because he was only on that first drive against Buffalo. But I think Byron Jones is getting close. I think the fact that he was back out there at practice last week was a big sign that, hey, this groin is healing up. Again, they want to be careful because groins can be pretty tricky. It's like you tweak it one time and you can knock yourself out for several weeks to a month. Again, the most ultimate sign to Byron Jones' situation is they didn't put him on IR. So there is thought and belief that he could be close.
Did you like Chan Gailey's honesty today in kind of taking some of the heat for the offense? Because he kind of felt that it was his fault that the offense wasn't nearly as productive.
Yeah, I mean, Chan's going to take the heat. You look at Fitz and what he said. I mean, he took the most ultimate sign of heat that you could on Sunday. He said it's his fault. He's the quarterback, and when the quarterback doesn't come to play, then they never put their team in a good position to win the football game. But obviously Chan is the one that calls the plays, and it was good for him to take the heat. I mean, the thing with Chan though is that he's a straight shooter. I think you're going to get really what you want to hear from him on a weekly basis. I think the bigger sign here is you look at the announcement of them announcing Fitz as a starter. It was about an hour before we spoke with Chan. So, I mean, that timing is kind of funny just because Flores wasn't scheduled to speak today. So, obviously, we were prepared to ask, and we still did ask Chan Gailey questions about Tua. But he spoke knowing that Fitz is still going to be the Week 5 starter.
It's going to be an interesting week this week as they get prepared for the San Francisco 49ers. With Noah, I know where they've talked about mentally tough and all of that, and this is, Josh, this is nothing new, dude. Anybody that's covered the league long enough, or if you're a fan long enough, you've noticed plenty of rookie corners struggling in their first year, actually. So what is the biggest hurdle right now that Noah has in front of him? Is it a mental hurdle? Because it just doesn't seem like it's physical. It seems like it's more mental, his mistakes out there.
Yeah, I think mental, and you just look at the youth. He's not only a rookie, he's the youngest player in the league at 20 years old. Literally the youngest player in the league, not just the youngest player in the Dolphins, but the entire, literally all of his peers. So I think that tells it right there. Is the moment too big for him? I don't think so. I think it's just those mental lapses. I was actually texting with a scout last night during the Monday night football game, the Packers and the Falcons. They've got a corner there. I think he's in his third year, Jair Alexander, and he was a rookie when I covered him for the Packers. And some similarities between him and Noah in terms of what they went through their rookie years, and that scout was doing just that, and comparing him in my conversation with him, and saying that these rookie corners, they just need time to develop, because obviously Jair has turned into one of the more elite cornerbacks in the league. So that's the same hope for Noah. Again, youth, rookie, and the youngest player in the league. So I think he's just going to, continue to learn on the fly here. A little bit easier test here against San Francisco, but you got to remember they still have guys like George Kittle of the like. So while they might not have Jimmy G, they still got some weapons there.
Yeah. Oh, well, listen, people have short-term memories. Pat Surtain struggled his first year too. So it wasn't an easy transition for Pat the first year. You can ask him. And he turned out to be one hell of a player. I think he's in the Ring of Honor, one of the great corners of all time in franchise history. I think everything worked out for Pat Surtain. Noah's not the first and won't be the last rookie corner to actually struggle. On offense, how do they get Jakeem Grant involved a little bit more, since you can't make downfield plays with your big receivers, because those guys are trying to recover from either surgery or injury right now. But this is one guy that can stretch the field out. What do they got to do to maybe get him involved a little bit more? Because I don't want him involved too much, because he's not a big guy. You want to keep him fresh for special teams. But it would be nice to dial him up a little bit more downfield.
Yeah, well, that's a solid question. And in Week 3 against Jacksonville, I actually thought Jakeem Grant and Chan Gailey took a step forward in involving him more and getting him on the field. And not just that, on the field, but he was productive. You think about the end around that he had that picked up about 30 yards. He had several catches that game. And then this past week, I think it was a step backwards. Again, it's a mix of a few things, though, and I really think that when it comes to Jakeem Grant, he's such a unique piece to the offense. I mean, he's one of the fastest guys on the field, similar to Matt Breida. I think they just have to find more packages of him involved, and maybe it involves more of the simple things. And to get Fitz going this Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised, if they call up some digs and some slants here for Jakeem, some curl routes, because I think that's what he's best at. are those short yardage completions, 5 to 10 yards, just to move the chains, and then allowing Jakeem to be dangerous in the open field with his speed and agility.
By the way, they weren't lying when they said that the backup tight end now. What's his name? Damn it. The blocker. What's his name? Now I'm brain farting.
Shaheen Smythe, who are you talking about?
Smythe.
On
Durham
Miami?
Smythe.
Yeah.
Durham Smythe. Yes, Durham Smythe.
Yeah.
They told, Chan was talking about this a month ago. He says, hey, we're working on making Gesicki a better blocker and making Smythe a better wide receiver. And, dude, they're not lying. They are using Smythe now in the offense, and I thought that's pretty cool because – You keep that defense second guessing, and you don't look at Smythe and say, well, he's only blocking. Now you got to look at Smythe and say, be careful, he can catch a couple passes.
Yeah, exactly. And you look at what Seattle's linebackers did against Mike Gesicki. They're definitely watching the tape. I mean, I consider him as one of the better tight ends in the league. And, after that 8-catch, 100-plus yard performance in week 2, he's been limited here in these past couple of weeks to just a catch each game. They're definitely paying attention. So while they can have to continue to involve him, just because I think he's just a true talent in terms of his production with Fitz, again, Durham Smythe is going to be another good option if they can get him a couple targets each game.
What are you working on over at the Athletics so folks can check you out, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, typically, that Monday is always my film piece, but because of all the Tua news, we pushed that back for today. So I've got my film observations coming out today, and working on a long-term, longer feature piece on Tua just when he's ready. So when it'll probably drop around whenever he makes his debut. But we got several things in the fire here, but be on the lookout for the film observations because there's a lot that jumped off the tape from this past game, and then how it'll affect the Dolphins moving forward heading into week 5 at San Francisco.
And if you want to find out more, follow him on Twitter at JCT Sports. He is Josh Tolentino, joins us every Tuesday at 12:30 normally. I screwed up and I was slacking there. Josh, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. Have a fantastic week, my friend.
Hey, Big O, I appreciate it. I'll be, making that cross-country trip this weekend, so I'll be glad to talk next Tuesday. I really do think the Dolphins, I'm probably going to take them in this week 5 game. And it's one of those ambush games where it'll look like a good victory in the concept of the overall season.
I got back-to-back wins right now for the Dolphins to get to 3-3 here over the next 2 weeks. Beat San Fran, beat Denver, and let's move on, baby. All right, my brother. You be good.
All right, take care, Al.
You got it. There you go. Josh Tolentino, good stuff there. Anthony Chang is going to join us here at the bottom of the hour, so we'll have a little fun with all of that. One of the guys was saying that, hey, don't be stop protecting and babying Tua. He's coming back from a hip injury, my brother. Did you watch his college career? So yeah, you do got to baby him. You do got to bring him back the right way. He's not built like Justin Herbert, and he's not built like Joe Burrow. He's not built like Cam Newton. He's just not, bro. So you've got to handle things the right way. And rushing it, he's not going to make anything better right now. They're not a good team right now. I'm hoping that they can be 500 this year. That's what I'm hoping, that they can hover right around, which would be monster improvement from 5 wins to go to 8. And then in year 3 under these guys, that should be the year that maybe you're pushing now for a playoff spot. That's the way the process hopefully will end up developing. We'll see.
How could that person say you shouldn't baby Tua? What's he got? 5 injuries?
Right.
Right?
Yep. Let's see. Douglas T-Buck went from a total train wreck to one of the best corners in the leagues. Corners take time to learn it. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's a good point, Raging Dolphin Maniac. T-Buck sucked at the beginning, and then he became a good corner. Jones is a good blitzer, but that's it. Not a great tackler and also a chaser and not a cover safety or CB. I don't care to remember Terrell. His nickname, I believe, was Toast. Noah sucks. They reached for him. No other team was going to draft him in the first round and possibly not in the second. That's right. Douglas is the guy that gave up on Gesicki his first year. Douglas is the guy that gives up on Jakeem Grant his first year. Douglas is the guy that gives up on Drew Brees his first year. Douglas is the guy that gives up on Pat Surtain his first year. That's Douglas. Plenty of fans like that. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They pull crap out of their ass, and then nobody ever checks them because nobody cares what they're saying. So nobody marks it down, and nobody remembers that you said this or that. So you can constantly say stupid things like that. Because I see people like this all the time. Anybody that gives up on a player 4 games into his career is a moron. That's all. Pretty simple. You can't give up on anybody in the NFL unless you never thought they could play from the first place. Okay? That's if you were already on the record before they even drafted him, or they drafted you, say, no, that's a terrible pick, because you saw him in college for many years and you thought he was a bad pick. But if you think that he were bad just because they didn't perform well at the beginning of their careers, come on, man. You know how many players turn it around? Most of them, actually. Most of them suck the first year, and then they start to turn things around. Some of them, of course. But most struggle their first year. It's a few guys that come in and they start tearing it up from their first years on. It's not normal.
How many all-time greats would we not know a thing about?
Right.
If you give up on them in the first year, even two.
Cam Wake sucked so much he had to go to the CFL to then come back to the NFL and have a good career. Warren Moon sucked so much he was shipped off to the CFL to then end up coming back to going to have what's it called, a Hall of Fame career.
In the Guinness Book of World Records, most passing yards.
Yeah.
Because of the 2 leagues.
Yeah. It's ridiculous to give up on any player in their first year. Look, Jesse Davis has turned himself into a serviceable player. At the beginning of his career, he was probably as useless as it gets. But you got to give him time. Nick Needham looked terrible at the beginning of last year, then looked better at the end of the year. Myles Gaskin, now your starter, didn't look like that from the beginning. He was just a bench guy. But he put in his time and now got better. Christian Wilkins didn't start off strong last year, finished the year strong. Some guys, it kicks in right away. Some guys, it might be a little later in their first year. Some guys, it might take them to the 4th year, like Drew Brees. But to guys like Douglas, they give up on people right away. You know? But again, nobody checks what Douglas says. Nobody cares what Douglas says. Nobody writes down what Douglas Anderson says. So nobody will remember when he says somebody sucks. And then they turn out to be really good down the line. Nobody walks up to Douglas Anderson and says, hey, you said this. Nobody cares. That's the problem.
Need to make you a scout, man.
So the people like Douglas Anderson can do these kind of things and always get away with it because nobody's going to hold their feet to the fire. All right, let's take a quick break. Anthony Chang from the Miami Herald joins us next to talk a little Heat and Lakers and NBA Finals. Big O for all of your family dental needs. Please reach out to Moody S Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moodySdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody S Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you, 305-821-0231, or go to moodySdental.com. MikeNoGoZones.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to appear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O for all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs. You got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with zero down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
All right, we back. And Douglas, nobody's going to write a goddamn thing you're saying, dude. Nobody cares. So don't worry about it. We're not going to follow up on it. Plus, you'll
Is he trying to get published?
Plus, you'll disappear like everybody else does, and you won't be around. So we kind of, I've been doing this 30 years. I kind of know hit and run when I see it. All right, let's talk a little basketball. Let's talk a little Miami Heat. Anthony Chang from the Miami Herald does an excellent job of covering the Heat on a daily basis. You could follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang and catch his work, of course, at the Herald website or at your doorstep. Make sure you subscribe and support local journalism like I do. I support Anthony and all of the writers there at the Miami Herald. Anthony, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Big O. How are you?
I am doing exceptional. Shocked, obviously, after the other night. I didn't really expect them to win anymore at that point, and they were able to pull it off, my brother. So you tell me, are we going to get another Rex Chapman-like performance from Jimmy Butler again?
I mean, that's going to be hard to duplicate, right? I mean, third 40-point triple-double in finals history. It doesn't happen often, obviously. So that's going to be hard to duplicate. But he's played really well the past two games, really. I mean, really the entire series. It's just he turned it up to a historic level in Game 3. But if Bam and Goran can't play again, and even if Bam does play today, I mean, I don't know how close to 100% he'll be. They're going to lean heavily on Jimmy to lead the way again.
Yeah, I would imagine that it's Bam almost in there for more defensive purposes, but the offense normally runs so much through him.
Right.
With that injury, will they attempt to do the same thing, or will he be more of a decoy and a defensive guy?
I think if Bam is out there, he's going to play close to his normal role. He might not play as many minutes, obviously, but when he's out in the court, I think they're going to use him like they usually do. You know, he'll be the guy at the elbow you run the offense through. He's obviously a good passer. Maybe he's less aggressive going to the basket because of the neck injury. I mean, maybe that's the way you see it impact his game. But it's like you said, the offense has not been the problem. The past two games, their offense has been really, really good. It's their defense that has been the issue, especially in Game 2. In Game 3, it was a lot better, which is why they won. But in Game 2, the defense was terrible. So they need Bam defensively. They need him as far as his rebounding. They've been really struggling in that area in this series. So he'll help. But again, I think the big question is if he does play tonight, how many minutes can he give him and how effective will he be?
Are you surprised that Duncan and Tyler and these guys have been on milk cartons I mean, as young guys, we haven't really, since the 37-point performance, really, we haven't had another great performance from Tyler. And Duncan's shot has completely failed him right now in the finals. What are those two guys doing right now? I can't expect. Look, Kendrick Nunn hasn't been consistent since freaking December. So
Right.
that I don't even expect it to come back. But the other two guys are really needed, man. One of them needs to have a big time night. What do you think is going on with those young guys in this moment?
I mean, that's the danger with relying on young guys, right? It's like you said, like this is a big moment, and everything gets ratcheted up a little bit. Like Duncan Robinson, his 4 or 5 open threes he gets in a regular season game, maybe has limited it to 1 now. I mean, you see the way the Lakers are playing him. And, as far as Duncan Robinson, he has not been shooting well, and there have been moments where you're like, this is too big for him right now. He just seems like he's not ready for it. And defensively, he's been a little bit of a liability at times. But you look at, and I know plus minus, some people will say it's not a good stat, and it isn't sometimes, but you look at like his plus minus in game 4, I think he was a plus 20 something. Even when he's not making shots, you look at the way the Lakers guard him, they have a guy on him at all times, and sometimes they're trapping him when he gets off the screen, so that way he doesn't get an open shot. Like, he still makes an impact just because he is such a threat from 3, and he's one of the best shooters in the league. So you have to keep playing him. He has to keep shooting the ball, because that's one of the reasons Jimmy has had so much space in the paint last game. And as far as Tyler, he's never going to...
But wait a minute. Hold on a second. One thing, the problem with that theory you just said is that, he makes an impact because he brings attention, but there's a domino effect. If Duncan's not doing it, and neither is Tyler, and neither is the other guy, and neither is the other guy, then you're not really affecting anything. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because nobody is playing off of anybody. And in that last game, it was just Jimmy and Olynyk. That's it. Those are the only two guys who were really effective offensively. So it's Duncan's not the only one that's gone MIA, for a lack of a better term here, talking about the Heat.
Yeah, and Tyler, you brought up Tyler, and he's had his moments. He's obviously struggled, especially in game 1. He did not shoot the ball well, did not play well. But the one thing about Tyler is he's not going to stop shooting, which, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. But you saw, last game, he did not start off well. And then in the fourth quarter, he scored 8 points on 3 of 5 shooting, and those are 8 big points that they needed to kind of separate themselves from the Lakers when, LA was making a run at the start of the quarter. So, you need Tyler even more, just because he's one of the few guys in the roster without Bam and Goran playing who can create for his own shot off the dribble, can create for others off the dribble. You need that skill set, especially with those two guys not out there.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. So in the last game, obviously great performance by Butler and a terrific performance also overall by Olynyk. Tonight, who needs to step up? Who's the guy? Because, everybody contributed a little bit here and there to kind of help out in the victory. I'm not going to say that all these guys did nothing. They contributed a little something in certain moments, but somebody else has got to step up big time. Who's it going to be tonight?
I think you just pointed to them, with Bam, and again, we don't know if Bam's going to play or not. Goran is very, very unlikely. But if Bam does not play again, they need the shooters to step up, because their offense is basically give the ball to Jimmy up top, have 4 shooters around him, and hope the Lakers, respect those shooters, which they did last game, and the paint is pretty much open for Jimmy. And you saw that work. So you would think that the Lakers will make some type of adjustment where they crowd the paint more and make those shooters make the shots. So I think those guys have to make 3-point shots tonight, like 12 of 34 like they did last game, which is below their average percentage for the season, is not going to get it done tonight. They're going to have shoot 40% or better from 3 to win this game, because I really think the Lakers are going to come out and say, okay, we're not going to let Jimmy score 40 points again and 26 paint points. Like,